Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tori, creator of Healistic Reserve, your go-to space for nervous system regulation, lunar bath rituals, and grounded self-healing that actually sticks. Because around here, we blend body, mind, and spirit to help you create a life that feels calm, aligned, and full of purpose. And what I love about the fact that we are moving into Taurus season, a season of slowing down, tuning in, and returning to our inner wisdom, is that our Taurus season guest healer is Renee Spears, because no one supports that journey quite like her. So Renee Spears is a spirit guide channeler and spiritual mentor, and I absolutely adore her grounded joy and abundance energy. It is such a powerful part of her specific brand of magic. And this interview is going to be for anyone that feels like they're in a major phase of transition, or a lot of times you're like waiting for clarity but can't quite get there. So hello, Renee.
Hi, Tori.
Being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it's Love Fest because I love your bath rituals too. I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you. So I want to start off by kind of like, if someone was coming to this video having like very little, maybe even no experience with spirit guides or intuition, and I want to kind of get into starting off by like what this actually means. And I think that when a lot of people hear spirit guide channeler, they might instantly think psychic. So can you break down what you actually do and how it works?
So everybody comes into this lifetime with spirit guides. The normal number is between 4 and 10. We all have a different number. And those guides stay with us our entire lives. And I just call them helpers. You know, they make sure we meet the right person at the right time, or we're in the right spot at the right time. Maybe we take a different way to work so we avoid an accident. But they're really there always to support us for our highest good. So what my job is to receive messages and information from them and pass it on to people. So that I only get the information they give to me. So if somebody wanted to know what's going to happen in a year with such and such, and they don't give me the information, I don't know. So it is different than a psychic in the fact that you don't have all of the information and can't predict the future. But I set the intention that all of the messages from them are for our highest good. So these were deeper things. Instead of, should I buy the red Mercedes or the blue Audi? You know, this is more like the spirit guides are concerned more about joy and inner peace and finding your purpose and listening to your intuition and that sort of stuff.
I adore that explanation. And especially that part about, not so much about just like right and wrong, but like what's right for you. And what do you feel like the biggest misconception people have about spirit guide communication is?
Wow, that's a really good question because there's so many, I think, misconceptions. I have to say, I think the biggest one is asking the spirit guides for advice, like, because they are really big about trusting your own intuition. And I think that's where we can get kind of hung up in our society is, what do my guides say? What's astrologies tell me to do, instead of trusting our own intuition. And it's really all about that more than anything else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that where I'm like, someone give me the answer. I don't want to figure it out on my own.
I remember when I was younger and I would be like, I don't know what to do. Just tell me what to do and I'll do whatever it is,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wish it was that simple sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of like, there's almost this kind of like, we've heard a lot about, I think there's a lot more awareness anyway in like the online space about like decision fatigue, right? And so sometimes I think there's even like intuition fatigue where you're like trying to like get the answer.
Yeah.
And so how do we know the difference between a spirit guide message and our own overthinking?
Well, it feels different in your body. Your overthinking is usually in your head, and you may feel a little anxiety or unsettled with the overthinking. But if it is your intuition or spirit guide message, I'd consider those pretty much the same thing. It's the same energy. You feel different. It just feels right. You feel calm. You're grounded. So two different energies. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that overthinking and like anxiousness definitely go hand in hand. And I can't say that like anytime I've ever felt really intuitively activated that it created anxiety. It was like passion and
Yeah.
excitement and joy and like feeling kind of like, for me, I'm a Sagittarius. So for me, it's like, I'm really fired up, you know? So,
Yeah,
but
it just feels right.
yeah.
It's like, I think the overthinking is, I don't know, where the intuition is, oh, I know.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, let's see. So you've mentioned, um, through your content and a little bit in our conversations that like, because I listened to your Abundology, like astrology podcast, and definitely with this last like spring equinox and the eclipse season and all of the retrogrades and Neptune moving around and doing all the things that we're like going through a major like chapter as a collective of like deep spiritual transformation. um are the guides, but are your guides maybe saying anything about this like collective moment?
Well, I've gotten quite a few because people are asking this a lot now, like, first off, how long is this going to last? Time, time doesn't really exist. So that's a tough one. But based on our human concept of time, it's a couple years. This is not over by June or, when the planets all change signs in September. This is not that. This is a major turning point in our collective consciousness. And as we're going through it, man, it's sucky. It just feels so horrible. But the reassurance that I've gotten from multiple people's guides is, we all collectively on a soul level signed up for this. And this is ultimately going to our higher evolution, our spiritual awakening, us really understanding, not on a mental level, but a soul level, that we're all connected. And we don't really get that right now. I don't even think we think on a mental level that we're connected, So it ultimately ends up in a really fabulous, wonderful, highly evolved place. We're just right now in the transition part that doesn't feel that good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can
And
definitely.
scary because we don't know what's coming.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everything is kind of like in that it feels like from my experience, it feels just like everything is just getting unearthed right
Yes.
now. And we're just kind of like in that stuck in that
Yes.
unearthed, like unmoored, like
Yes. Untethered. Yes.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So what they have said is we're having a breakdown to break through. And on a collective level, let's be real, we really need this, to get our crap together, and um, I'm bummed that we do need it, but we do. So, yeah. I
To
will
put it
say
nicely.
it's kind of nice though that Taurus season comes along after that crazy eclipse season and retrogrades and all that. It's like, thank you for Taurus season, just for the pleasure, just to ground a little bit and be in some different energy while we're in the midst of all these changes.
Just a nice like, oh, there's the ground under my feet.
Yes. Yes. Like we forgot what that was like. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like there's a lot of people, I mean, even just like not even people that are like super in tune with like the astrology and their intuition, but just like my friends and, acquaintances, they're definitely feeling like that energy shifting right now, but they can't quite, they have the feeling, but they can't quite name what is happening. Do you have like any kind of like affirming statement or validation for like people that are like they can feel it but they can't quite?
Yeah, I think we all know on a soul level how important this time is. Like, let's be real, we won the soul lotto to come to be here and experience this time, which on a human level is like super hard to believe. Like, who would sign up for this, But we did. And as all of us going through this spiritual awakening, it feels like our body doesn't even feel like our own body. Like it's like it's a surreal. Everything is surreal. We don't feel like we are because we're not the same. We're going through a lot of up-leveling and upgrading, and that's what's happening in our society too. It reminds me like we're cleaning the house and you first start, like it's messier. You're moving everything around and it doesn't look, but then eventually you put it back together and it's cleaner and it feels better. We're just in the midst of all of that right now. I will say that this is ultimately for our highest good. If we can just relax into it, it's for our highest good.
Okay. I'll take that and put that in my own pocket because sometimes it's hard to hold on to that knowing, right?
Yeah.
And then to kind of use that as like the perfect segue, I feel like so often I want to get more into like a conversation about like people who want to get more, they want to feel more confidence in their intuition and trusting it and like remembering that like soul contract, right, that we all signed before coming here. So why is it so common, do you feel like, that like we already know the truth deep down but struggle to trust it?
Well, I think it's hard to live in our society where we're bombarded with other messages of how to be and how to act and how to look and all of those things our entire lives. And so we're not taught to trust what we believe and trust our intuition. The good thing about this period in time that we're in is in order to, I don't want to say make it through it, because that sounds a little negative, but make it through it, but also elevate while we're going through it. This is really a time to connect to your spirituality and your intuition and grow your spiritual practice during this time. So we have this gift, this opportunity to do that while we're going through this, which will make it so much easier and we'll understand it on a deeper level. So when we come out the other side of this, I think people are going to feel so much more grounded, connected, alive, and happy. Once again, it's a journey through, but we're getting there.
Absolutely. I love that. And for the people who maybe in theory love the idea love the idea but are struggling to like, what would help someone build trust with their inner guidance and recognize when a message is coming from spirit?
I really do think it takes practice. And practice with the little stuff, like which way should I drive to the grocery store? And then just listen and then do that. What should I do right now? Should I do the dishes? Should I watch TV? Should I sit and read a book? And just listen. Like, it just takes practice over and over and over of not immediately going to what we think we should do or the way we normally do it. So there's that adding that pause just to check in. to see where you are and then act on it. So, if you do that 100 times, 1,000 times, even more, you start trusting what you're feeling, and then that's easier to trust bigger messages. So when I first moved to Bozeman, I trust my intuition for everything, but I got this intuitive hit that I need to go to Costco. I don't need anything from Costco. I'm a single person. I don't need all the toilet paper, but I'm like, I trust it. So I go to Costco. I don't know why I'm going to Costco, but I trust that intuitive hit. So I get there and I'm trying on the winter gloves, and there was another woman there trying on winter gloves that had just moved here too, and we became friends and we're hiking buddies now. So that intuitive hit was to go to meet her. So it just makes life just flow so much better, and it just makes everything easier to trust that.
Yeah, I first of all adore that like now she's like, because especially moving to a new place, it like having people in your community that like are friends, like proximity is important when it comes to friendships, I think.
Yeah.
So I love that your intuition guided you in that way. But I love what you like, even just like the little things starting there, because that's like any practice, including a spiritual practice, your intuitive practice. And I think that throughout the centuries, even spirituality has was kind of reserved for like the elite, the select few, where it's always been accessible by all of us. And so just teaching those little moments of pause and building on your practice, I think is super empowering. And I adore that. And to kind of get into like a practical way to like build on that like pause and the practice, right? For someone who's ready to start tuning in, right? Like they're watching this video, they're like, I want to work on connecting with my spirit guides and my intuition. And I get the concept of like pausing and starting small. So they're ready to start tuning in and connecting with their guides. What would be like, where would they start today?
Really, spirituality is about being present. And we, again, in our society, we're not really good at that often. So just including something in your everyday that is about being present. Now, that could just be, taking a 5-minute walk in the morning, and tuning into nature, looking at the trees, whatever. That could be sitting there with your coffee and just doing nothing. But it's about being in the present moment, so that whatever appeals to you, it could be yoga, breathing, a bath, just being present in the bath. If you could add some type of activity, and it doesn't have to be the same thing, it could be something different every day of the week, but some type of activity that made you stop and be present to where you are right now. And for a lot of people, that's gratitude. Like a gratitude practice is a fabulous way to start to get into create your spiritual practice, because you need to focus on what you are grateful for right in that moment. At least think about it, and it brings you present. And it's easy.
Yeah. It's free.
It's free.
You can do it anywhere. Yeah.
You immediately feel better. Like gratitude practice, you immediately feel better.
Yeah. I love that. That's my catchphrase, apparently. I love that. But I do, because I mean, everything that you're saying is so like relatable, in that it is like something that all of us have access to. But it is something that you have to like put the work in to really get a stronger connection to it. If you like,
yeah, I think often we think of spiritual practices or spirituality like we have to sit in Om for 5 hours a day, or, I don't even know all the other things that we think that go along with that, but it's not true. It's just about surrendering, being present, listening to yourself. And that's the basics. Anybody could do that.
I sometimes even fall into that line of thinking with my own bath rituals. Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't want to have to pull out all the candles and the crystals, but I've had to remind myself, like, even just soaking in
Yes.
the bath with the lights turned low, I don't have to even like meditate, just like lay there in the quiet and
Yes.
just let the water hold me. Yeah, that's such a good point, because it doesn't have to be a whole big orchestrated. And in fact, I think you'd probably agree that like sometimes the more, like you said, surrendered, just let it be easy kind of moments are usually like the more impactful.
Yeah, every spiritual teaching, all the spiritual teachings, even the religious teachings, the foundation of them is about surrender, about trusting the universe. And we just are not taught that in our society. We're taught like we've got to do it, we've got to force it. And it's the exact opposite. So I hear we just make it way too hard. It is so much easier. If all you have to do is sit there with your cup of coffee and watch the sunrise, take a bath once a week, do a little gratitude work, you have a goddamn good life.
Yeah, that's the perfect way. I mean, all right, thank you for coming.
That's it.
Okay, I'm done. And yeah, 100%. I even had, like while I'm like doing my makeup, preparing for the interview, I even had the same thought about like, um, we're all kind of like, it's deeply ingrained in us to prioritize like logic forward and conformity as opposed to like trusting our intuition, that right, that gut feeling or authenticity. Even I feel like so many of us, even just like the benefit of trusting your intuition could be something as simple as feeling free enough to just be yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what this transition that we're all going through is really all about. So we're moving from how we've been, which honestly has not been working that well, to trusting our intuition, being authentic, listening to our higher selves. And so we're in the middle of this transition now. So we're all going to do it. So you might as well just start. You might as well just start now with the easy stuff, you know?
Yeah. And to your point earlier about like it's almost like you have the messy room, right? It's like you have to see it loud and clear what's not working in order to and to see it loud and clear is not fun. So
Yeah, it is not fun.
And for the people who are in that like phase of like, this is not fun, I'm gonna start small with my intuition, and they're watching this video and they really resonate with you, what does it look like if they wanted to work with you?
Well, I offer 30 and 60-minute sessions where people come and we just have a conversation kind of like this. And most of the time is what they want clarity about something. People just want some clarity about, honestly, I have to say my job is pretty easy because I just confirm what their intuition already knows. So they may want to know about relationship or work or whatever it may be. And then I get messages from their spirit guides to pass on to them. So 99% of the time, we already know the answer, but hearing it, outside, getting that confirmation, I think allows us to trust ourselves and our intuition a little bit more, because all of us sometimes get in that spot where we're not, is this my intuition? I don't know. It doesn't, I'm not really sure. I just like a little confirmation. So I offer sessions like that. I also do a lot of classes too. Different subjects that come on, different topics and that sort of thing. So yes, it's easy.
Yeah. And you do, I think I saw on your website maybe like, because you do like mentoring, or is that like packages? And
so you can, if you want to come often, if you're just getting started in this, because I support a lot of people that are kind of going through the shift, and one time to get clarity is great. But often a lot of my clients will come regularly, maybe once a month, once every couple of weeks, to kind of solidify their practice. and trust themselves a little bit more. So there's packages for that, you know, make it a little bit more reasonably priced for people
Yeah.
to come. Yeah. I
Oh,
also, one of my favorite things is I do spiritual retreats here in Montana. So people come and stay with me, and we go to Yellowstone, go to the hot springs. We have cacao ceremony and walk the labyrinth. And it's just really, really great. And that's another way to really kind of jumpstart this spirituality. And because I don't think people know how to be. So we just be for 3 days. And it's like, oh, okay, this is how you do this. I can do this at home. This is easy and fun and feels good. So that's really fun. I have 3 or 4 people coming this summer for that.
oh my gosh, that sounds incredible. That sounds like, talking about transitions, that sounds like life altering to learn how to just be.
Yes. And nobody teaches us. We don't know how to be.
We're taught the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly. We're taught to do. Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's super powerful, Renee.
Oh,
and the retreats, is that the women's wisdom circles?
no, now the wisdom circles are different. I hold those a couple times a year, and they're on different topics. The one that I'm holding right now is on the teachings of Abraham Hicks. And it's like a 3-month, we meet every couple weeks. It's a small group of women, and we go really, really woo. And it's fun. And what I love is sometimes, often, the people are in parts of the country that they don't have people to go woo with, you know, where I think if you live like on the West Coast or, you know, Sedona, even where I live in Bozeman, it's a very spiritual place. But if you're in the middle of Iowa, maybe you don't have a lot of friends you can discuss these topics with. So I think it's really freeing to realize, oh, there's other people like that out there with me, and have some really super deep conversations about those.
That sounds like what the world needs during this messy transition. So I love that you're hosting that. So thank you, Renee. And also, just a plug, because I know that you are offering the members of the membership portal a discount for your sessions. So thank you for offering that. And for anyone who's been craving guidance or feeling disconnected from their own intuition, what do you want them to hear today? Just some like last bit of words of wisdom.
That you're not alone, that, you know, there's billions of people right now that are feeling the same way. This is part of our transition, and to be really easy on yourself. This is a big effing deal. This is not just like, oh, I mean, white shoes to black shoes. No, this is our whole way of being. Our whole way of our society operating is all shifting. So be easy on yourself and go slow. You know, build in some time where it's just you in the bath, or you on a walk, or, you know, it's not about the hustle anymore. We're getting away from the hustle into a slower, more easeful type of life. And it feels awkward. It feels uncomfortable, and it's okay. You're going to be okay.
Thank you, Renee. I think that a lot of people probably need to hear that, because it feels so against the grain of what we've been honestly conditioned to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Renee, for being our guest healer for Taurus season here in the Healistic Reserve community. For anyone watching, please tune in to our live in the Facebook group, where on the full moon in Scorpio on, I believe it's May 12th. I'll have the exact details in like the caption or the description down below, along with all of Renee's contact info, so you can connect with her. But be sure to join us in the Facebook group for some speed readings from her. So thank you, Renee.
It's my favorite thing to do. I love speed readings. And so if you just need some clarity on like one little thing, it's perfect.
That's amazing and so generous. So if this conversation has landed for you, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, all the things, and drop a comment letting us know what resonated the most. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want more grounded spiritual practice, bath rituals, or just a cozy place to come back to yourself, I've got so much more coming your way. Please check out all of Renee's links in the description below. Okay, love you. Bye.